Today we'll be discussing the answer to life, the universe, and what color is truly your grandmother's toaster. Find out later.
Beautiful. Hello, welcome to WWSV Season 2, Episode 1. It's been a long time coming. We've waited for ages. I've got Adam and Andrew here.
Hello!
Hi-ho.
Producer Jeremy is not here. Daniel is not here either. Toby will be joining us later. So, it's been a long time.
Back to Avengers again. Crikey.
It's been so long, in fact, that they've fought him again. It's been 5 years.
Back.
Effectively.
Crikey.
I mean,
Yeah. Are
And-
we pre or post snap?
well, you're right.
Would-
Are we pre or
yeah.
post snap? Who knows? I think we're
real
we're
question.
post. But anyway, so actually speaking of Marvel and my smooth transitions into subjects, Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man. Yeah.
Spider-Man, the deal with Sony and Disney. Now,
Yeah.
we have a lot of opinions about this. We almost talked about it before this, which I'm glad I stopped.
Yeah.
Yes!
Um,
we were glad you stopped as
My
well.
my own personal opinion on this is that it's a publicity stunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Sony wants everyone to get angry about it, and I think it's Sony, not Disney. I think that Sony's the one holding all the cards here. I have watched a lot of videos on this, and that's what I think. So, what do you guys reckon?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. That they've
Yeah.
got the Sony guy to leave. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. Look, for all the hate Sony's gotten for certain Spider-Man films,
Yeah.
the original
actually done
Tobey
pretty
Maguire ones
Oh,
still
the OG was,
still
you know,
sit
Yeah, no,
high
those were the
rated,
good ones.
highly
Those were the
rated.
the dancing of
Yeah.
Venom, Spider-Man. Oh, good
Dude,
times, you know?
They still sit highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So no matter what people say about them, they've still got good ratings. It's actually like they're still, you know,
Exactly.
even the third one is still like 86% or something, which is good.
Yeah.
And these are obviously, you know, I love Tom Holland. His Spider-Man movies are probably like the best ones since that. And you know, I mean, the Spider-Verse movie was great as well. Like I love that. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Into the Spideyverse. Oof.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie. But also, with what Disney has done with Tom Holland, I don't think they can undo it. Like
No,
that's what's so
they've-
confusing.
They've like entered a whole new generation of Spider-Man stuff, and
Yeah.
they just won't be able to fix it.
And even Sony knows that the deal they struck with Disney is not just it's almost irreversible. Because once
it
you put
really
your
is.
character into that universe, that character is in that universe.
Yeah.
And if you
can't
take it
exactly
out,
take him in,
it
yeah.
doesn't work. So I think that's what Sony knows, though. And they are holding all of the cards here because, as far as I know, Disney has a lot of profits coming from their theme parks based on Spider-Man. Like, even the Marvel theme park's main attraction, the biggest attraction, is a Spider-Man ride. And they don't even own the character. It's still
Yeah.
Sony. And Sony has made, you know, I mean, like... and
It's
they're
been a huge deal for them because I mean, up until now, Disney's only been getting less than 5% out of all of
Yeah.
the Spider-Man stuff.
Well,
So,
and they still are getting only 5%. That's
Yeah.
the thing. And they asked
Yeah.
for more money, but the problem is there's got to be a double-sided deal here. If you're working as a team, Disney
you
needs to
can't-
either they can't ask for 50% if they're not giving any of the payments from
Exactly.
rides and things to Sony.
Yeah.
Because
Gotta
Sony
be
still
an
owns it.
even playing field.
And as I watched, credit to be on the trailer, reaction trailer and a reviewing trailer thing channel, hosted by someone called Grace Randolph, who's written comics and things like that. I think I watched it and she was talking about how, what was it? This is when I run out of traction.
When your train of thought leaves you,
Well,
this
yes,
is
when
what
it
you get.
This is what happens. A confused
Exactly.
man.
The man that is confused.
Yeah, she was just explaining it was like it would be a dodgy move to move that out, and obviously, look, Sony, yeah, again, she was saying this thing like Sony is held up by Spider-Man. They have nothing else.
Well, besides their cameras.
Yeah, but remember, but those are deals with other companies. It's not actually Sony. I'm saying their film industry. She was saying their film.
Yeah. I mean, think about what other film you think Sony makes that.
Well, they used to own Bond,
that is
but
true.
it was sold to MGM, which I'm surprised MGM wasn't sold to Sony, because MGM, I barely see that name anymore.
Yeah.
It's I just think like look what Sony have done with it though. Like, for all the hate they cop for the Amazing Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse was good. Spider-Man PS4, one of the best games I have ever played in my life. It was so well done. You can tell that the people there actually do care about the character. They just,
Yeah, I mean, they just haven't had the budgets and things like that to do stuff. I mean, well, the direction, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Tobey Maguire's versus Andrew Garfield. Tobey Maguire's was not actually that bad for the
True,
era
but Andrew Garfield's wasn't actually terrible either. It's just the story wasn't so good.
Yeah, and both actors were way too old to be playing the character when they were trying to play.
That's true. And plus, we've all seen Uncle Ben die way too many times, and then we had to watch...
Which we haven't seen happen in the MCU yet.
But we don't need to see Uncle Ben because we saw Uncle Tony die.
That's true. Well, no. Yes. But
that was pretty sad.
Spoilers.
Like, I mean, spoilers, I guess.
Well,
I'll put it in the title anyway, but
so we're good.
I think we're beyond that. Anyone who wanted to see it has seen it.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it already, you're not born.
Really get a life.
Yeah, get a life.
Brutal.
Yeah, well, honestly, there's I've heard stories about people, waiting for it to come out, and it's like, this person ruined it for me because I haven't seen it yet because I didn't watch it in the cinema.
They tell me,
but spoiler seasons are over by now.
See, I accidentally spoiled part of it, I think, for someone at one point, because I made a meme, and I'll show it on screen in this section, and it was a PewDiePie meme. It's to do with this Fight with T-Series, and I'll send it to you guys too. I put this on his subreddit, and I got a pretty brisk "fuck you" back. I'll send it to you, and just basically, wait a minute, here we go. It was a pretty dangerous one, actually.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it was. It was very quick. It was a very quick response. And then immediately some guy's like, "Dude, mark as spoiler," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." I was very quick to react to that one, but I felt really bad about it because I was really worried that I have actually like. I mean, at the same time, I was also
have you ruined game.
Well, it was like 4 weeks after. It was when the Russo brothers said, "Feel free to go and post your memes." Yes, yeah, but people were still getting triggered,
Yeah, people.
And the thing is
4 weeks is like a good, yes, spoiler seasons are over, but still don't do it out of respect.
As I said, I thought to myself, I was like, well, as I said to Toby, trying to justify it, even though I can't really justify it because it's still, if I've spoiled it, I've spoiled it. But as I tried to justify to Toby, it was that it was like what was it? It was
it's no different than the guy that came out of Star Wars.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like why?
Was like,
no.
I was died.
You're right,
and
but
almost got beaten.
But it isn't like that because if you wanted to see it 4 weeks later, why have you not seen it?
Exactly, and by that stage, they're pretty much ending all of the showings of it, anyways.
And it's also obviously it's up to the.
Wait, we're going to re-release it with a slightly different.
Yeah, but that was just so they could get the highest movie on the box office, which, to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed about because I'm just unsatisfied with the fact that it just.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys. We know you deserved it, but you could have earned it another way.
Yeah, it was just, and I won't talk about Spider-Man right now because that will be spoiler content. Some people probably haven't seen it. It wasn't emergent, but also, then again, if you wanted to see it, you've seen it. I am glad about with Spider-Man that they did take great note of the fact that Tony Stark's not alive.
That was quite
most of what I say. But I with that movie, I loved the villain in it because I thought it was such a different take.
Best villain ever.
And no different to anything you've done before.
Well, when I was sitting down in the movie theater and I was laughing, next to my mum, I was cracking up laughing because he was wearing the mocap suit. And I just thought that was actually hilarious because I was like, it's so generic. Like, it's not even like they've put some time into stylizing it, but it's just a mocap suit. They probably at that point, they probably even just mocapped it to that suit as well.
Pretty much.
Like, they didn't even, it was such an easy costume. Like, they could have, amazing things that's all done. But aside from that, Spider-Man, I don't think he's gone from the MCU. I think that Disney would be stupid not to fix that relationship.
Oh, completely.
Because they've worked so hard on maintaining it for fans as well. Yeah. Remember, that deal was only struck as well as, obviously, for money, but also, part of it in Kevin Feige's mind was that, like, people want to see this character, so I need to make a deal with someone.
Yeah.
Because Sony's never going to give it up. No matter how many times they try, Sony will never sell it. It's the only thing they have with movies.
It's a major cash cow.
Yeah.
And I think that no matter what ends up happening, Disney is going to have to redo the deal. And they're basically just going to have to agree to whatever terms Sony wants.
Well, great. Well, that's because Sony said no, so Sony gets the first say now.
Entire, what is it? Stage 4 or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
Is all based around Spider-Man. Spider-Man's basically the new Iron Man of this.
Yes, Spider-Man has lined up as Iron Man 1 did. Spider-Man has lined up the next set. Yeah. And to be honest, I think that it's just perfect.
If you lose that main character, that would have been like losing Iron Man after the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, and obviously there was
fired Robert Downey Jr. and we're going to remove Iron Man from the entire series and just complete it that way.
Producer Jeremy's just messaged me. He's not pleased, but I'm not going to concern myself. I'll let him know one day. I'm sorry, Jeremy. Anyway, that's. I think we've talked about that subject. It's a shame Toby wasn't here yet, but I don't know who it is. But we can move on. The Matrix 4.
Oh yes, the fact that it's the OG
and I have not. I'm going to be honest, and you're going to hate me.
Sorry.
You're going to hate me here.
So this is the first time I'm hearing about.
Yeah, they've announced it today. They announced the fourth Matrix. OG characters.
The OG team.
Yeah.
Okay, question. What's it going to be about?
I don't know. I don't know.
The Matrix.
I've got to be fully honest here. It seems after Keanu Reeves' rise to meme culture, he has become almost the most wanted actor in all of Hollywood.
Oh, I mean, he became the internet's boyfriend overnight.
Yes, literally for standing on stage and saying, "You're breathtaking." Yeah, it's very funny. The memes, you are breathtaking. Wink.
Oh, it was just fantastic.
Am I? Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be honest, and you'll both hate me. Given all the movies I've seen in my life, I haven't watched The Matrix.
Okay, so that's all right. That's fine.
If we're having the
but I've watched Top Gun, which is it's just terrible, awful movie. Don't watch Top Gun. However, if I did have to recommend a movie, watch Jaws: The Revenge. But let's continue.
Okay,
are we talking?
I've watched
or the remake of Top Gun though, Louis.
Forget both of them. They'll both be terrible.
Now, like I said, if we're
the remake a porno?
Corner, I haven't seen all of the Matrix either.
I haven't even seen the first one, dude. I've been told to, but it takes me so long.
I've seen more of the Matrix and how to implement cinematic effects videos than I have in actually.
Oh, dude, the way they did the rotation with the gunshot.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
Right.
That is VFX back then. It was fully green screened, and they had 100 cameras on a spin.
It's great, eh?
And they were all taking a photo. It was stop motion almost.
Pretty much. That's effectively what it became.
Sorry, Adam, we've interrupted you a lot.
Yeah, no, I've watched The Matrix. I've watched all the Matrix.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's why... Okay, so how they ended it, where pretty much every character died. All the main characters from the entire series has died, pretty much.
Is it going to be a prequel where they're all old?
That's where I'm confused with them saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to make a new one."
Maybe it's a dream because it's in the Matrix.
Maybe they're still in the Matrix.
Maybe it was a dream inside a dream.
It's a dream inside a dream of a dream.
I don't know.
Inception on
I don't know how they're going to make it because they've pretty much put the entire series from beginning to end, and there isn't anywhere that you can make a prequel.
I mean, we'll see what happens, shall we? Because they'll do something with it.
See what they come out with.
It might be some kind of it'll just be. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's the same with. I've been told to watch it, and I'm getting there with all these movies. I'm slowly building up. Is Bill and Ted those movies?
Yeah.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I know they're making another one of those. They've been filming that. So it seems
that's the crew.
It seems like Keanu Reeves is
just
being asked to come back and do these reboots or whatever because of his pop culture rise recently with all the John Wick stuff and everything, which by the way John Wick is brilliant.
It's fantastic.
But I think his rise to popularity with this generation, I think, has sparked them to go, look, we can just make the same thing and sell it to a different audience.
The same movie and release it again. Make more
Star
money.
Wars.
Pretty much, Star Wars, great example. Now, interesting thing with Star Wars is they've already confirmed that after Episode 9, which is released in December this year, that there will be an Episode 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, they did say that.
Now, the interesting thing that they've also released around that is that they have stated that none of the original characters from the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, or the current sequel trilogy will be in the new 10, 11, 12 trilogy.
So they won't even be referencing them?
There will be no...
Well, then it's not a Star Wars.
Yeah, there's...
then it's not Star Wars. What's wrong with them?
The Star Wars movies are legitimately just following around the Skywalkers and seeing how badly they can screw up the entire galaxy.
But that is what it is. Look, the prequels made their return via meme culture.
Oh, completely. I mean, you can take
that's literally how the prequels are popular now.
Yeah.
Trilogy and turn it into a meme. Have a look at your screen now. Pow, pow.
And it makes people. But that's the thing is, it makes people.
How many memes you can
it makes people want to watch them though, because then they clap for the meme scenes. Hello there.
They watch it. Watch for the memes, stay for the terrible acting.
Well, Ewan McGregor. Come on, don't you? Excuse me. Don't you diss Ewan McGregor?
Now let's talk about the fact that Ewan McGregor has been confirmed to be playing Obi-Wan for one of the new Star Wars live-action TV.
In the Disney Plus one, which means, remember, each episode will probably be an hour, so that means more screen time, more memes, more meme templates,
more memes.
And
what about
I've seen
Mandalore.
See, I've seen these.
I'm looking forward to that.
That looks good.
But the question is when is it going to be based, though? Is it going to be Old Republic?
I'm not sure, but I think it's after the Republic of the Downfall between episode 3 and 4. I think is where it's.
I think it's a lot of those things where Solo is set and stuff.
But the rise of the Empire.
Similar to where Rogue One and Solo are.
Yeah, I think it's So more Rogue One than Solo, but like the beginning of Rogue One.
By the way,
gotcha.
By the way,
oh no, Solo
people
would actually make
with
sense,
Solo
sort of
that
Solo.
movie, so few people went to see it, and it really didn't deserve it. Because I really wanted to see where they were going with Darth Maul. I was so wanting to see that.
Brought him back, yes. Now the cool thing about that was they used in that scene. They used the actor of the guy who physically acted him in The Phantom Menace,
and the voice actor of the Clone Wars,
voice actor of him from the animated series,
the Rebels,
from Rebels. But also that he was the same voice actor who did it
in Clone Wars
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was brilliant. It's like you got both actors that have only ever played him.
Yeah, but that's what they did with Infinity War. See, like you know Cull Obsidian, the group of Thanos' children. So yeah. Now, they are voiced in the movies by the same voice actors who did them in the animations. Because they're fully CGI characters.
Oh yeah.
100%. But imagine being. It's like when I said in Spider-Man. Imagine being that actor who hasn't done much but gets called in and asked, "Do you want to be your character in a live-action movie, or do you want to come? I know you haven't worked with us since Iron Man 1. Do you want to come back for a bigger role?"
Yeah.
It's imagine being requested for that. Like
Spider-Man.
You'd feel so good about yourself. No, it's not just J.K. Simmons. I'm talking about what's his face, the mustache guy from Iron Man 1. That was like a big bring back. It's amazing how far back they went with that. But I think all these series of movies that they bring back, sometimes they don't succeed as well, and to be honest, part of me wonders if maybe if we had done, if we just finished Star Wars at Episode 9, everyone would probably be happy.
Well, I think after the last, effectively the flop of Episode 8.
Well, Episode 8...
It was...
Episode 8, okay, Episode 8. The key to Episode 8 is Rian Johnson forgot he was working on a series movie. He just worked on his own movie. He didn't think about anyone else who was making a movie after or before. But that doesn't make it a bad movie. It just means it doesn't fit very well in the series.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff that just didn't make any sense in it.
You are kind of right, but there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Let's be honest. There is a lot of that in every film, and people ignore it. But because it's Star Wars, people got really, really attacked.
Triggered.
And that's the thing is,
at least we're flying half a ship.
Yeah. I was having this conversation with my dad about Star Wars and Marvel and things. And it's funny to see that each generation where film has been big has had their own major motion picture of the century.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
definitely.
Star Wars was a VFX masterpiece.
Oh,
yeah.
That was George Lucas defined. No matter how much hate George Lucas gets, he owns the greatest VFX company in the entire world, Industrial Light and Magic.
Wife recut the film so
and
that
it
actually made sense.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. No matter what people think of him, he has done a really good job.
Like you said, the amount of hate that George Lucas gets.
It's not. They don't realize what he's done.
Oh yeah,
every film in the world works with Industrial Light and Magic. Every single film.
ILM, yeah. But no, it goes even further than that, because effectively the entire film industry we have now is thanks to George Lucas. So Disney,
because he offered
Pixar.
Yeah,
George Lucas started Pixar for Star Wars.
Yeah, but still, even to this day,
Star Wars.
Well, Industrial Light and Magic still owned by George Lucas. That's why he was okay with selling StarArs and LucasArts, because he already had something bigger. And it's something he'll never give up. It's a company that was open to everyone. Industrial Light and Magic is meant to be used for every film company can come to them and go, we need help with this. They worked so much on Iron Man. I was watching this thing in class because I study VFX and 3D production and things. And they were talking about how in Iron Man, Jon Favreau wanted Robert Downey Jr. to wear a suit, like an Iron Man suit, and he wore it for a few shots, and then some guys like, can I run a test please of just a CGI one? And Jon Favreau's like, okay, well, like, I guess. And he runs this test of it and shows them to Jon Favreau side by side, and he says, yeah, I still like that one better. And then the guy's like, that's the CGI one. And Jon Favreau was like, do it. And I just, like, apparently Robert Downey Jr.'s reaction was like, as they were putting the mocap suit on him, it was so much more comfy because it wasn't so hard to move in, and he was just like, I love you.
Yeah, because
they
made
you so much. Because it's like
they...
one of those things where, like, people were getting angry with Batman v Superman versus Civil War where they had them wearing actual suits and no mocap suits, but there's no difference.
No.
A CGI suit looks just as real, although questionable on Robert Downey Jr.'s Infinity War suit, but it kind of looked a bit rubbery. But his in-game suit was so much better. But
Superman's mustache.
Yeah, but that was a quick job. They could have done better. We've seen so much better with face stuff.
Even the deep fake version of it looks better than what
they did. Like we've seen great facial modification. Like Hugh Jackman and Logan.
Yeah,
young Hugh. That was so well done. Like
when they put Grand Moff Tarkin's face,
that is apparently to this day it's the greatest success because it is.
Considering that the actor died, how many
bringing
years
someone back to life with CGI,
and then of course with Carrie Fisher, how they made her young and brought her back. Well, no, that wasn't as good as Tarkin. They definitely did a lot better. Tarkin was like a major character.
Yeah, he was. They focused a lot on him. So that made him brilliant. I know my dad, when he watched Rogue One, he thought it was just Carrie Fisher at the end. He thought that was just a young Carrie. But I obviously, you see the CG lines if you're looking for them.
If you're really studying it.
If you know it, if you know it's CG, then you're looking for it. But dude, they've done so well with a lot of these things, and it just comes to show that. And as Jon Favreau said, at the point where he saw the fake Iron Man suit being better than the real one, that's when he knew that VFX had climbed above what they could do realistically. Because that first Iron Man movie, the CG in it is still believable, and it lines up with every single Marvel film to this day. The completely. CG still lines up.
There's a reason why it was the turning point for Marvel from making rubbish movies as they were, because let's be honest, all of the superheroes.
Fantastic Four with Chris Evans and.
Fantastic Four was not Marvel. That's Sony. Come on,
but it was still Marvel. Marvel Studios, I believe you mean.
Yeah.
And Marvel was bankrupt, and then Disney saved them, and Disney split up half the stuff.
No, it wasn't that. It was back in the really early days of Marvel. When they were going under. See, interesting thing. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Gates,
they were bankrupt. They were going under. They were running out of money. So they split up all their resources.
The movie rights, because of course back in those days they're like, they're comic book heroes. They're never going to have movies made of them. Ha ha ha! Let's sell the movie rights. So that's what they did.
Well, that's the thing.
They could keep writing.
That's what's absolutely hilarious about it is that. As I said, as I was coming to the point with, is that every generation has their own movie phenomena. Now, as I said, Star Wars was a VFX masterpiece, but now we have fantastic VFX. It's all about story, and
VFX just gets better and better.
To be honest, I think to this day, and only because I'm in the generation. Even though Star Wars was amazing, I still believe that the greatest achievement in cinematic history has been Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. Because that was 10 years of build-up,
so
10 years of film and storyline and lore, and you were attached. By the end of it, you didn't want anyone to die.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, on that battlefield in Endgame, every single main character, like Avenger character, you see, any of them could have gone and you would have felt just as bad, but obviously they had to go for the one that hurt you the most.
They killed the golden goose who started the franchise.
But of course he takes that. Of course he takes that scene, but oh well.
Yeah, you got to look at it as
and I think
for the 10-year build story, it makes sense because, of course, you had all the comments. Like in the first Avengers film, between Cap and Iron Man, where Cap's like, "You're not the one to sacrifice himself."
All this build up to Civil War.
What are you without a suit?
And even, but that was even before. Yeah, that was before Tony flew through a wormhole. But remember, he was still doing it for himself at that point.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, by the end of it, it was for everyone else. And I watched a cool video on YouTube. I don't know who made it. I could go back and find it, but it was about how I think I don't know. It was talking about how Tony's last suit wasn't designed to protect him. It was designed to protect everyone else.
Yeah.
And technically speaking, his big spiel about putting a suit of armor on the world, because he couldn't do that with the whole world, he just did it with his. Pepper and Morgan and things, he just protected them because that was what he focused on. And it is interesting, really, all of that film stuff.
What do you think about the rumors floating around that Morgan is going to become Ironheart?
I don't know. I think she might really later if they do another time skip eventually.
Or they might do another 10 years of movies.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is I think, I've said this before, and I think that Marvel almost did such a good job with their first 3 phases up to Endgame that it's probably... You kind of don't want to ruin it, though. You can't do it again.
Yeah,
so the key is not to do it again. It's not to repeat what you've done. It's to make what you've done continue. So just say that Endgame was, obviously they had the big
finale.
All the main characters with their signatures, the original Avengers, and like all their names, they're like a big like roll, and everyone's like clapping and things like that because it's like a stage show that you've just watched. Over 10 years, you've watched this huge cinematic thing play out, and all these people that have stuck these characters. And what was it like? I read a thing that Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. they don't want their roles to be what defines them, but the thing is they will never be able to live them down. Like they will, like Robert Downey Jr. will always be Tony Stark, and Chris Evans will always be Captain America, no matter what they're in. And I think I can understand how that might be kind of like discouraging almost, in the fact that like, you signed on to this, but at the cost of the fact that now people will always know you as those characters. You are now those characters. Like, no one else will ever be able to play them.
Yeah, I mean, that's like Mark Hamill, when of course he was Luke Skywalker.
Well, he's the Joker as well, that's the thing.
Exactly, that's why he went into voice acting. Was because he got typecast as the good guy saved the day character, Luke Skywalker. And he went, I don't want to do that.
He wants to be the Joker, so he went to be probably the worst, the most evil supervillain of all time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is great because he's done a great job in the Arkham games and everything. He came back and did that. Yeah. And yeah, I think he's done well to change what he's seen as. And of course, Robert Downey Jr. could do the same, but it may require him to play maybe a villainous character at some stage.
Sorry to be a bit of dilemma here. Just welcome, Toby.
G'day, Tobes.
Hello, Toby.
Yay!
Yeah.
Is he actually here?
Yeah, he's actually here. He's talking.
Okay. No, sorry, he's not talking because I had him muted. I'm very sorry, Toby. Hello.
I just heard this little.
I did it because I didn't want you to come back and like scream while I was in the middle of a sentence. But
because I'm not obnoxious.
Welcome back. Anyway. We were just
It'd be
discussing
really interesting
Marvel.
to see what Downey Jr. and stuff do. I mean, Chris Evans is already doing other big movies. I mean, there's like a whole
There's the Ryan Johnson one that he's got coming out, the murder mystery one.
Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of ones that have just been released that are now all popping up on like Netflix and stuff, where he's playing completely out there characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
because I mean they don't want to end up. I mean they are now typecast. I think it'll just be interesting to see how they get out of it.
I think Downey Jr. is going to be Dr. Dolittle. Oh, and also, let's note, I also see Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes because he's really good at that. Yeah. Like his Sherlock Holmes movies are fantastic. He's American, but damn, he does a good job.
It's just real interesting because when you look at like the characters, like you look at MASH and you look at BJ. Of course, when he left, when MASH finished, of course he was typecast as the Doctor character. So what did he do? He started up his own show called BJ Honeycutt, and started up whatever it was, basically just a Grey's Anatomy with BJ before Grey's Anatomy.
Huh?
So yeah,
I think that's interesting. I can see. Yeah. I mean, so, yeah, I think as long as people, it requires people to also allow them to live it down. Like people need to accept that they are wanting to do other movies. Like obviously, as I said, Downey Jr.'s got Dr. Dolittle coming up, and I'm looking forward to.
And Tom Holland's a dog, so
that's hilarious because Tom Holland is pretty much like that in the movies with Robert Downey Jr. anyway.
Oh yeah.
Well, so yeah, he's no longer there.
Well, now I think
he's not Toby.
Okay, I think it's time to move on anyway. We've talked about that already, Toby. So you can listen to the podcast and the discussion.
Just that Disney and them need to
Dude, you can listen. All right, we've already talked about it.
We'll roll back the tapes.
Toby can listen to that. Toby can listen to that when it comes out.
You can listen.
Now, what I want to move on to is something a little different.
Near and dear to your heart.
So, after a lot of memes on YouTube and a lot of videos which people got absolutely stuck into, we just talked about this before. Minecraft has decided ray tracing is the next thing.
RTX on.
RTX on. Damn. I thought it was actually hilarious when I saw that the other day. I was like,
oh crikey.
I think it's an I don't know. It's not much you can talk about with it, but it's. Yeah. I think it's a.
Well, what does our resident Minecraft modder expert think?
Programmer.
Yeah, Toby, what do you think of the Minecraft ray tracing?
You're our expert Minecrafter.
I mean, if they pull it off, sure, it's great, but it's really nothing new though, because you've been able to do those kind of things with shaders for ages.
And yeah, you can.
The real question will be: are they doing what they did with potions, where they literally just stole the bloomin' resource pack that this guy had spent flipping years making for potions and didn't even bother to retexture them, just literally copied and pasted his entire
they do that with everything though. That's the deal modders. No, but that's the deal modders make with Minecraft. Is it was open source modding, but they weren't allowed to sell their mods. That's why mods don't cost money, because the whole thing is you're literally making content for the people who create the game. Like, half the stuff in the game now...
But you at least hope that they gave some
even in the recent update, a lot of the stuff... Well, you're absolutely right, you do.
Yeah.
But, you say Mo Creatures, but they did give Dr. Zark the credit for the horses, because he came in and helped them code them. Because they didn't know how to do it.
There you go.
But yeah.
That's why originally in the snapshots of 1.6 there was horse saddles, and they didn't use normal saddles. Because that was the original feature of Mo Creatures.
Yeah, because basically what he did was he got there because they made a horse model, and he helped them make it so that it wasn't exactly the same as Mo Creatures, but it was pretty damn close.
Pretty much.
Which is kind of cool because.
And Mo Creatures, I didn't realize this, right? And I'm sure Toby did. But I didn't realize that Mo Creatures was like a company development. Like, I understand that something that big would be a company. Like, a company would make that.
What?
But
I just saw that it was, like,
dude,
maybe a couple of guys
it's
in their
being
basement.
updated by, like, it's pretty much a company. Like,
That's pretty
they
cool,
probably
actually.
do other things, but, like, it's like the Aether 2 that's still being updated, but that's done by, like, a team.
Can I please correct you? It's the Ether.
Is it?
The what?
The Ether.
The Ether. Is there an E at the beginning of that, Toby?
Yeah. Aether.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you stick... Come on. The dyslexic's teaching you how to read, man.
Oh, maybe.
If you put two vowels next to each other, the first one says its name. A is at the beginning, followed by E. It is the Aether.
Okay, you may be dyslexic, but I'm just...
I think he's just being... dude, I think he's just being a meme. It's like when he calls lapis lapis.
Lapis?
Circumbus.
It's like... Stop.
Loads.
Yeah.
Loads. In jokes, guys. You had to be
so, yeah.
Oh, gold.
Oh, Minecraft. What a game.
Minecraft.
Anyway, speaking of which, that brings us to our next subject. Season 2, right? We're in Season 2. Season 2! We're in Season 2. Yeah.
Season 2.
Yeah, we're in Season 2.
Yes.
So I'd like to discuss plans for the future of the Netfominite channel. Now, we have obviously the WWSV podcast, Why We're Still Virgins, that will continue.
WWSV.
It will continue, but maybe not as regularly as other things, because we will be sliding gameplay videos
to the left.
A bit of
sliding to the left. No,
take it back now, y'all.
Right foot left off. Left foot left off.
So we got.
real smooth.
So we will be kind of delving into the gameplay side of things occasionally. So I've kind of thought Sea of Thieves, and that'll be good. I want to play some of that. And our first sort of setup will be Minecraft. We're just going to do a sort of
the
survival
classic
thing.
MC.
And
classic latest.
Well, I suppose
yeah,
it's a classic.
That's true.
It's a classic game.
It'll just be. Yeah. I think with just with the re-rise in popularity, I think it would be. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of nice to do a classic vanilla sort of Minecraft thing.
Good old
and
MC.
Of course, yeah, I don't know. I mean, guys, like, actually, I think it would be a good time to ask, like, are there any suggestions you have for, like,
leave
maybe
them
what we
in
do?
the comments
not
below.
asking our audience, asking you guys.
Oh,
you.
okay.
I think the obvious one, which will always be a meme, VR chat. Come on, we have.
All right, yeah. VR content is one of those.
VR content would be amazing.
That'll probably mostly amount to. I mean, Toby can still play VR chat, but not VR. So
yeah. The rest of us can all do it in VR.
Yeah, well,
weird flicks, but
it's
okay.
mostly us.
In real life, I'm disabled in there as well.
Oh.
Weird flicks, Toby. But okay.
VR content would be good. I'd like to play some
Andrew,
Pavlov.
it's my only
That'd be
flex.
nice. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to do with that. Andrew will be joining me with the Minecraft thing, and maybe we'll have like some different people will probably play Sea of Thieves. I mean, you'll play Sea of Thieves with me occasionally, not necessarily the whole time, but like, I've got a lot of people to play Sea of Thieves with me, but if you want to, you can join. Andrew, I want you to join him for those videos, but if you can't, then I can always get someone else.
Legit, yeah.
So yeah, well, like the gameplay will be pretty dandy. It'll be fun. I think it'll be a good step, and obviously the podcast, which yes, this episode has taken us about a year and a half to get to, but it's fine because it's like Game of Thrones. By the end, everyone will be disappointed.
Disappointed.
Not even disappointed, like just totally gutted. They spent how many years of their lives watching,
waiting for it, and then they realised, oh, you screwed it right at the end, and
like,
you took our money and
for
ran.
The books to get the real ending.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to read. Yeah.
Anyway, shall we move on to our big question of the day?
Of the week.
Question of the podcast. I don't think it's per week because by the time, Adam, by the time they see this, they would have. We would have already recorded quite a few more other things.
Okay.
Because I'd like to pre-record a lot of content anyway. Okay, question time. Adam, do the intro again, because why not?
What? Question of the week.
And for those of our international listeners, oh, by golly, that was an amazing rendition of the ZM.
So if you're
not a Kiwi,
if you are not on the internet and you're 80 years old, I don't know why you'd be watching this. You possibly don't know what Bitcoin is.
Bitcoin.
Andrew can probably explain it better than me, or Toby could explain it actually. What is Bitcoin, Toby?
It's like an internet currency.
Decided by what? What decides what's Bitcoin?
Do you know how
what do you mean, what decides Bitcoin?
We're explaining it to 5-year-olds here, Toby.
Do you know how to mine Bitcoin?
Well, yeah, explaining it to 5-year-olds is just a currency.
Okay, we move on. All right. So, if you had to design your own Bitcoin,
explanation.
If you had to design your own Bitcoin, how would it work? Like, how would it function? And I guess maybe we should. I don't know who's actually thought about this.
Louis,
I have.
Question.
What?
Answer.
You can't even comprehend what I said before. I think you're asking the wrong question.
I can comprehend what you said before. I'm just asking for the audience.
Man, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Andrew, you can. I guess we could start at the top. Hopefully, you have an idea.
What, our resident Bitcoin user?
Yeah, the actual Bitcoin owner.
Yeah, the only one that actually.
The
chosen
Bitcoin owner.
Yes, Bitcoin's a fun thing. Basically, just like the stock market, but more volatile in some sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Have you designed your own? Do you know what?
Well, I was thinking maybe something. Oh, crikey, hiccups. Whew.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. No,
he's just coming
you could
up
go
with
with
an
something
idea
classy, like the Top Hat coin.
Top Hat coin. How's that work?
Well, it's every hat is a top hat, and it's a coin. Obviously.
Right.
So every hat you own, you could physically convert into hat coin. So, like, think about this. So you could go down to the shop. Right?
I have 20 hats. Yeah, he's got 20 hats.
And what we're going to do is we're going to take 3D printers and we're going to reverse them so that they remove stuff into
it basically, it's like the Matrix where you put stuff into the computer.
So you take your hats, you stick it in your anti-3D printer, and it sucks it up and turns it into digital.
Is that what we're calling it? An anti, not a reverse?
An anti-printer.
Like the reverse flash?
The reverse flash.
The reverse 3D printer.
The reverse 3D remover.
And it's like the opposite color to a normal 3D printer?
Yeah, everything's inverted. Like upside down, back to front, moves from top to bottom instead of bottom to top. But yeah, so every legit hat, so like, you who knows, maybe Hatcoin suddenly inflated and is now worth $20,000 a coin. That's ludicrous, but who knows? Maybe.
Damn, that's some.
So you go down to your local Hallensteins or whatever Kmart store you go down to, and you go, oh crikey, they've got a sale on.
So what's to stop you 3D printing a bunch of hats and then reversing them into a hat?
Because the filament for 3D printers.
So it has to be an actual hat, like fabric.
Oh, legit hat, like an actual hat. You can't just 3D print hats. I mean, you could, but the amount of filament you'd have to spend.
Okay, so does it run on like a base value of the fabric? or something like so.
Yeah.
The better the fabric, the more the hat.
The
is,
more
like,
the higher quality the
get.
hat, the more it's worth in hat coin. You know?
Right. Okay.
So if you go to your local Kmart and you buy yourself a $5 snapback because you're a hipster, you stick that in your reverse 3D printer, you're gonna get half a.
So what if I just chuck the shirt in there?
Well, it would just come out and be like.
Would it reject it because it's not the shape of a hat? Like, does it have a set hat shape?
No, well, it has a database of hats, so it scans whatever you've put in the reverse 3D printer, and checks to see if it actually classifies as a hat.
Okay.
So like beanies, top hats, caps, snapbacks, baseball caps, Glengarries, all of those sorts of things. They all fit. They all work. But as soon as you start heading to the territory of like scarves,
wouldn't a beanie have to be put on a headpiece though to make sure that it knows it's a hat and not like a scarf or something?
Well, see, that's the.
Or would it just kind of know what it's looking for?
3D printer, it just knows. Like,
it just
so
knows.
Advanced, it just knows.
It knows what a beanie's like weight
exactly.
and density is. Right. Okay.
Completely.
Well, that's interesting.
Right.
I guess.
So you have your hat coin,
Hat coin.
It's got the. No. See, it's the hat coin. It's a gold coin, but instead of like Bitcoin where it has a B imprinted on it, it's got the
like a top hat.
No, it's got the Rage Comics like top hat meme guy. How he's got the monocle. Rage Comics. Yeah.
All right.
And he's got the monocle, the top hat, and he's just got the cigarette. And it's, yes.
All right. Well, hat coin.
Hat coin.
Coming to the internet now.
Hat coin.
I guess. That was good. Adam.
Yes.
Have you thought of one, or do you want a bit more time?
No. I mean, I kind of got my eyes when I thought like Bitcoin. Think something like logically, like, what was that?
Logicoin?
No. Thinking something that actually serves a purpose as well as like coins. Like it's money, but also you could do something. I got inspired by an old movie. Flip! But pretty much instead, so Bitcoins is time. It's like your currency. It's like
time.
About time.
Oh.
I was thinking something like that. Something
so
that.
Underrated.
So pretty much the premises of the movie is when you're born, you have pretty much this timer on your hand, and you're given 10 years.
Yeah.
And the time is currency. So
it starts ticking down when you turn 21.
The thing is you stay 21 until your time runs out, and then when your time runs out, you die. So I mean, pretty underrated movie. Great.
It
movie.
is underrated.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something like that.
And it is a Brad Pitt movie.
So the currency. So wait, you're born like that, or would you have to like? So is it like a currency? So like in this world, so it's like you have the clock, but can you add to it? Like you can make it. So
you can like add to it. People can like make time and give you time.
You can trade
so they can give you more time. So it's like trading in time.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Okay. So you can,
But like, what if? But so they're trading only the time they know they have to trade with.
Yes, but you can look at your arm and see.
Look at your arm and see the clock.
So they can't go and like trade like loaned time from a bank.
Well, I could go to a time bank.
A time bank.
The time bank.
But they only hold clocks and they're not worth much.
Just artificial time. It's like,
it's just, you guys do it in my clock shop. We need time. Give me time.
It reminds me a lot of that. Reminds me a lot of Hook when Captain Hook like rages at the entire shop and stabs every clock in the place.
Yeah,
that makes me laugh a lot when he like breaks all the clocks because the crocodile.
So true.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's good. So hat coin.
About time. Underrated film. Go watch it if you haven't. It's good.
Okay.
Not sponsored.
Well,
not sponsored.
I guess we'll move on.
Hey, if you're listening and you're part of them.
I guess we'll move on to me now.
Onto the loo.
Okay, so I thought that like kind of I've called mine clicker coin. Now,
is this like cookie clicker coin?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, right? So it works sort of based on a greed system, right? So like you click, right? And you know, I don't know, each click is worth a certain amount, but it's a very small amount, like 0.1 or something like that, or 0.01. Now, the more you click, obviously, you know, you get these different sort of, say, cookies. I don't know. I mean, it could be cookies. That's the example I'll use. And say every now and then, and it could be quite often, depending on the day or the code or the luck or whatever. But every now and then you get a damaged one, and that decreases the value. So, say for every 3 good cookies, you have 1 bad one. The bad ones decrease the value of the full amount of good ones you have. So that shows how many you actually have.
So it regulates its own value.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, sometimes, say if somebody wanted their value to go up a little, it would probably decrease someone else's value. But it's weird. Like it's an odd system. I haven't fully figured it out, but I think like it's sort of like the more you click and the more greedy you get, the more likely you'll get a damaged one because you're like
so it's like a random chance.
You're like over baking. Say if I cooked batches of cookies all day, every day, eventually I'll start making mistakes, and I didn't sleep or something like that. Like, so just basically it's a greed system. So the more greedy you get for good cookies, the more likely it is you'll get bad ones.
So basically it would like regulate the minting process of the coins. Because if you're like trying to mint them too quickly, you're just going to be putting out bad batches.
Yeah. So it turns regulation to a different level. So you have to kind of regulate the time you spend doing
regulate your output.
And figure out, and like, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. So click a coin, people.
Click a coin. I like it. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Talk for another day.
Toby, do you not have an idea?
No, I do have an idea.
You have an idea? Do you want me to, bring it to us?
Bring it to the table.
We're just doing a game of Shark Tank here.
Yeah.
That's your idea.
My idea is sausage coin.
Sausage coin.
Sausage coin!
Every individual coin is known as a slice.
Okay.
Right.
And every slice, you know, the coins, you know, can actually be eaten as well, and they give you gratification. And so you can then, you know, convert food into this coin, and then, you know, actually consume the coin for gratification, you know, for like, you know, eating something really, really, really nice.
So like real world slices of sausage.
Yeah. Apart from it's like divine level. And like when you're putting in food to the coin, the quality of the food depends on how many coins you get. So you can't just put in crap and get lots out of it, because that would be kind of sucky. So it's like all the quality of food that you put in, and you know that depends on how many coins you get.
So basically, you're just explaining like making sausages. You put in bad meat, you get bad sausages.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
I like it. I like it.
Sausage coin, everyone.
Sausage coin.
It sounds great. You know, everybody loves sausages. So apart from vegans, they have.
So what you're saying is, if you have a group of people and you're all doing it at the same time, it's a sausage party.
I'm not going to comment on that
statement. All right. Well,
turning my ideas weird.
Okay. Well, I think like, those are actually really good ideas. I think we've done well. I think that does probably bring us to the end, though.
No.
It is a true shame to say goodbye, you know.
It's time to say
goodbye. But what came out of this? We finally recorded the first episode of season 2, which you guys can no longer give me shit for because it exists now.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the joke. Anyway, hopefully getting into recording some gameplay stuff. It'll be a while before this actually winds up on YouTube, but
no. Today's date is
whatever date it released.
Enter date here.
Yeah, that's it, definitely.
Trademark date number
guys,
1.
It's only like 2 days away.
So,
yeah.
So we'll have to. All right.
Christmas.
So I'm planning on getting into some gameplay recording, and we'll start with the old Minecraft, probably.
Good old MC.
Yeah. All right.
Adventure maps.
We should probably. Does anyone have any lasting quotes to leave the audience
do.
with?
I had a fact for the day. Do you know goats' pupils are rectangles because apparently it helps them spot predators better? There you go. That was the fun fact for the day.
It's interesting. Wow. Did you hear that? Nobody cares.
570.
All right. Well, we'll see you later, guys. Thank you for watching. If you made it here, it's about an hour long, so enjoy.
If you made it to the end,
yeah,
good job.
All right, farewell.
Catch you later.
KGFN. Ta-ta.
Bye.